guys, it's Maddie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with a very special guest. This is Katie from Chicago Pigeon Pets Rescue. And we also have two very important guests. This is Frost and this is Boris. And do you want to tell us a little bit about them?
Well, they're wearing their special Adopt Me flavors from Bev's Bird Boutique in South Africa, because they're both up for adoption. Boris and Frost were both rescued outside in Chicago. One of them is banded, but we think that they're both former racing pigeons that just never made it back to their flock. And they're looking for their forever home.
They're actually so sweet. I've been sitting here for like an hour talking to Katie. And Frost has been just like sitting on my hand like a little hamburger. He's just been chilling out there. He's been so good. So we're gonna ask Katie a couple of questions and learn a little bit more about the rescue and how you guys can help out or adopt a pigeon if you guys are interested, even if you're not in Chicago. So let's get started. When did you start as a rescue?
I started rescuing birds in about 2015. There's a rescue group in Chicago that I volunteer with called Chicago Bird Collision Monitors. Because Chicago's on a couple of different major migration paths, during migration season we see a lot of birds coming through the city that collide with big buildings and skyscrapers. So we have teams during migration season that go out and recover those birds. So I met some other people in that context, some other bird rescuers that all had an affinity for pigeons. So we broke off into the pigeon team and we're focusing on getting our rescued pigeons that are not releasable into forever homes where they can be comfortable and live happy lives, because up to now a lot of these birds have had it pretty rough.
So another thing that's really awesome about this rescue is if you don't live in the Chicago area, you guys can still actually adopt a pigeon. So do you want to talk more about that?
Sure, we ship via USPS, and we do ask that the adopter pay the shipping cost and the cost of the container, but we're really happy to get these birds into forever homes no matter where those homes are. As long as overnight shipping is available to your location via USPS, we will work with you on that.
So that's a really, really awesome thing. If you guys know about me and my pigeons, I had a really, really hard time finding pigeons in my area that were for rescue, and if you guys were around at that time, I totally would have utilized that because it's such a great opportunity to be able to rescue a bird and see, look how calm they are. These were wild animals and just look how calm they are. That neck thing was so great.
We suspect that they were both hand raised, and that's why they're not considered releasable, because birds that were hand raised don't know how to find food in the wild. They don't know how to avoid predators. So pigeons that were raised for racing actually don't do very well in the wild. They're easy targets for predators and they're succumb to starvation.
If you guys are interested in adopting or inquiring more about any of their birds, they have their adoptable birds listed on their Instagram page, which I will link down below. They also have a Facebook page that you guys can contact them through, so you can inquire about any birds or any questions that you may have, and they also have a Gmail that you guys can reach them at, which I will also put down in the description and in the pinned comment. So before these birds get adopted or are able to be adopted, what is the process that they go through?
Well, all of the birds that we have up for adoption now are currently in foster care and foster homes all over the Chicagoland area. Each bird that we get goes through a vet check to make sure that they don't have any diseases, that they're in good enough shape. Obviously, sometimes a bird has a problem that we can't foresee, but they all do get vet checked for certain things. We ask a $40 per bird adoption fee and a $60 fee per pair to kind of help offset that vet cost. Even though it costs us more, it just helps manage those expenses.
Definitely. That's a really, really good price for a pigeon too, especially if you guys are like looking into getting birds. All of you bird people, you know how expensive it is to look into birds. And I can tell you personally, I paid way more than that at a breeder for my birds and they weren't vet checked. And I spent over $1,000 on my birds at the vet. So it's definitely a good deal to go with a rescue that also vet checks. What is your screening process for potential pigeon adopters?
We do have an application that needs to be approved. But if you're in a situation where you want to adopt a pigeon but you need help with certain steps, if you need help setting up a habitat for your pigeon, if you don't know what to feed it or what certain behaviors mean, or even how to bond with your bird, we're very happy to help every step of the way. We're all a big community and there are lots of experienced bird people on our Facebook page that will help you answer your pigeon questions.
What is your favorite story or like the worst case, best outcome story that you have?
I think I have one story that meets both your criteria.
Okay.
somebody called in a pigeon who looked like he was in pain. And when I received that information, I was sort of like, well, what does that even mean? So I went out to find where the pigeon was supposed to be, and I saw a bird standing where they said he would be standing, but he looked completely fine to me. He was sort of standing with one wing away from me and one wing toward, but he wasn't moving. So I decided I'll net him and just check him out and make sure he's okay. As soon as I had him in my net, he threw up that hidden wing and tossed pigeon blood all over me. I had so much blood on me that passerbys were stopping to ask if I was okay. And I really didn't expect it to work out for that guy. I thought he had lost so much blood, there was no way he was going to make it through. But I called my friend Hava, who was doing pigeon rehab, and she came and picked him up right away. She bound that wound. He did lose the wing, but today he's very happy in his forever home. Oh. He's married to a very beautiful pigeon named Albina. Like, he has this great life that I really didn't foresee in that moment where I was standing on the sidewalk covered in pigeon blood. Both the bird and my coat made it out of it, and I just really, it's a much better outcome than I ever expected.
That's fantastic. Oh my god. How long ago was that?
It was probably 18 months, 2 years ago, okay. And then Arnold ended up being one of the first birds that we adopted out together as a team. It was very informal. We were not the group that we are now. There was no Chicago Pigeon Pets Rescue, but we kind of think of him as like our first alumni.
If people want to help, how can they help out?
Well, the thing that we need the most are adopters, of course, and foster homes. The more space we have, the more capacity we have to help pigeons, and there are more pigeons that need help literally every day. But aside from that, if you're not in a place where you can have a pigeon in your life, we do have ways to contribute monetarily, like our Amazon wish list. We accept donations via PayPal. Even if you can't help monetarily, just by normalizing pigeons as pets, you're helping us out tremendously, because there's such a stigma on pigeons. People think they're dirty. People think of them as being like gutter animals. But as you can see, they're really satisfying pets. They're intelligent. They remember human faces. They're rewarding companions, and if we can get people to understand that, that's a huge help to our organization and our movement. This is kind of a huge ask, but if you have the inclination and if you have property in the Chicagoland area, we have a program where you can apply to put an aviary on your property, and if you'll keep our rescue pigeons in the aviary, we will pay for construction, for winterizing, and for predator-proofing that piece of equipment. We're actually also accepting images right now for t-shirts. So if you are inspired by Chicago Pigeon Pets Rescue and would like to donate an image, we would be so, so happy to see that.
Are you looking for like images of like artwork, or are you looking for like actual images of like people's pet pigeons?
Interesting. I was thinking artwork, but we're kind of open to whatever. If we can make a photograph work on a t-shirt, we're happy to try to do that.
If you guys want to help out and you can't adopt a pigeon or anything, make sure you guys check the links in the description below. I will be linking their Amazon wish list and also the email that you guys can use for their PayPal account. And thank you, Katie, so much for bringing these gorgeous birds and talking with me today. I so much enjoyed it.
The pigeons and I are so, so excited to meet you.
Yes, I'm so excited to meet you guys too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed meeting these lovely young men, and maybe if you guys are looking for a pigeon, you guys can go and check these guys out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Okay, wait. I was zooming into the pigeons, so I just need to like zoom back out. Okay.
And also, like, can we just take a moment to acknowledge that neither of us murdered the other person? Like, even though we had this kind of shady, like, hotel meetup situation.
Yes, exactly. I'm very glad you trusted me enough.
The other person exactly. Just talking about pigeons as pets and contributing. I started going to YouTube on our TV, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh, are you going to watch her channel?" And I was like, "Yeah. I hope she's not an idiot." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, YouTuber kind of summons like a
an
basic
obnoxious,
millennial image.
Jake
and
Paul.
I was like, oh, thank God, she's super intelligent.
Oh, thank God.
She's super intelligent.
Yeah, that's why I'm not big.